Nostalgia is powerful. As more years have gone by, I felt myself slowly becoming more and more nostalgic for things from my youth. Heck, lately I've become nostalgic for things that I feel like I experienced for the first time not that long ago, only to realize it's been over a decade since I first experienced them. Nostalgia is a hard feeling to describe. It's a bittersweet longing for a simpler time. A feeling of reflection, happiness, and even sadness as you realize that those times are forever behind you now. I'm nostalgic for many things. Movies, shows, books, music, games, many games. But today we're going to be specifically focusing on games. I picked out 4 games that are very nostalgic for me. These are games that I could simply never live without, and I still play them often to this day. Granted, there's still many other games I could have included on this list. I have nostalgia for literal hundreds of games that I've been playing for the last 2 decades up to this point, so I would gladly make a follow-up to this video if you guys will want that, but without further ado, here are some nostalgic games I'll never stop playing. What better place to start than the beginning? Playing Donkey Kong Country is the first vivid memory from my life. Not just my first vivid memory playing a video game, no, I'm talking my first vivid memory, period. That being said, this game is rather important to me. I must have only been 3 years old at the time, but the memory will forever be engraved in my heart and soul. Sitting on my living room floor, crisscross applesauce as they called it in my preschool, my head tilted up as my eyes gazed into the TV with a wide smile across my face. I still remember the exact level I was playing too. It was Temple Tempest. Me and Diddy Kong running through the level, jumping on the blue Kremlins that came our way, avoiding all the various obstacles and traps in the stage, my ears flooded with the oh so beautiful soundtrack that this game has. Even at 3 years old, I can still remember being deeply immersed in this game. As I played it, I forgot that the real world exists, and I forgot that I existed in it. It's as if I was lifted out of my living room and transported to another world. This game deserves an entire video on its own, which I do plan to make soon, but to sum this game up as simply as possible, graphics ahead of their time. Gameplay, among the best at the time and still holds up incredibly well today. Soundtrack, otherworldly. When it comes to video game music, rarely can I describe how it makes me feel with words. It's something that can only be felt, and Donkey Kong Country soundtrack is no different. DK Island Swing makes me uncontrollably tap my foot, bob my head, and jive along to the beats and rhythm as I jump, roll, and smash my way through jungle hijinks, filling me with joy, excitement, and pure bliss as I anticipate the exciting journey ahead. Aquatic ambiance, I can't even describe how this track makes me feel. It makes me reflect on life as it once was, as it is now, and the uncertainty of what awaits me in the near to distant future. It makes me question how I am, who I am, what I am, where am I? Could this all be but a dream? Could this be more real than I ever could have imagined? Will I make it to where I plan to go? How far will I go? How far can I go? Until I realize none of that matters. Nothing from before matters. Nothing ahead matters. All that matters is this moment. Slowing down, absorbing my surroundings, embracing the present, observing my surroundings, and allowing my instincts to take my next step for me. This is one of my favorite soundtracks, period, not just in gaming, but music as a whole. I love Donkey Kong Country. It's the first vivid memory I can remember from my life, period. Ever since that moment, deep in my heart, I knew then and still know to this day, I was born to do this. I am a gamer. What can be said about Minecraft that hasn't been said before? Creating your first world, exploring for the first time, breaking your first tree, and all of the memories that would compound onto that. Minecraft is truly something special. It's so special, in fact, that most kids playing it today weren't even alive when it released, which, oh gosh, it makes me feel so old having to even say that out loud. I remember playing it back in 2009 when it was in its primitive alpha stages, and it was just as special to me then as it is now today. I followed and played this game ever since it released 14 years ago up to its official 1.0 release in 2011 and all of the updates since. The amount of love, nostalgia, and memories I have for this game can't even be described. Most of my nostalgic memories are tied to the game from version 1.7 and before that, but I've still continued to play the game over the years and still love it just as much as ever. The times I spent on the PC version back when the game first released in alpha, just trying to figure out what this game was, what it was about, what I was supposed to do, and that's the beautiful part about it. There is nothing you're supposed to do. You just do what you want, when you want, however you want. The times I spent on the Pocket Edition, whether I was laying in bed, in the car, at the doctor's office, at my friend's or family's house, at school, or a family get-together I truthfully couldn't be bothered to even pretend like I cared about, Pocket Edition was always there for me. My virtual world in my pocket that I could escape to at any moment. My virtual world that felt more real than the one I live in. My virtual world that I cared more about than the one I lived in. My virtual world where I felt safe. My escape. To this day, nearly 15 years later, nothing has changed. I constantly start up new worlds, dive back into old ones, or continue my adventures in ones I've been playing, allowing me to escape from everything. I always keep Minecraft installed on my primary portable device. In fact, whenever I get a new phone or device, the first thing I do is open the Play Store or the App Store and install Minecraft. The times I spent with my friends on the Xbox 360 edition building massive cities in creative mode, or embarking on large-scale adventures in survival mode, mining and farming for hours, building massive bases beyond even our initial expectations and imaginations, battling the Ender Dragon after spending weeks farming, mining, enchanting, and preparing for the fight, creating beautiful lived-in worlds, and we were the ones living in them. The soundtrack to this game makes me feel a number of emotions, but the main word that comes to my mind is nostalgic. I have a lot of memories with Minecraft. To this day, I continue to make memories with this game, and I know for a fact I'll continue to make new ones as time goes on. One of the beautiful things about Minecraft is that while yes, the memories you make with your friends is an important part of the game, and the reason that many have nostalgia for it, is that this game is just as fun solo, and just as many memories can be made. In fact, many, if not most of my memories come from times that I spent playing this game alone, adventuring through new worlds, experiencing new things, experimenting with new updates, and considering the frequency of which they put out new updates and content, I can only imagine the adventures that await me. Now, you can't talk about Minecraft without talking about the soundtrack. Every time I hear a song from the Minecraft OST, it doesn't matter what song it is, literally every song, even the new ones, all make me feel nostalgic in a way that words cannot describe. All it takes is a single note from one of these tracks to make me reflect on positive memories from my past. A smile goes across my face as I reflect on all of the great times I've had with this game, before tears suddenly begin to shed as I long for those times to happen again. Time slipped by so fast. What happened? Where did it all go? I know things will never be the same. Those moments will never happen again. Those memories are just that. Memories. That's what makes them so special though. The fact that I even have those memories in the first place is special and worth celebrating. Don't be sad that those times have passed. Be happy that they happened. I don't even know where to begin with this one. I could talk about the obvious things, you know, the many memories made on multiplayer, whether it be all-nighters grinding for XP and camos, screaming with my friends on the mic at 3 AM as we wiped entire squads in Search and Destroy, the many 1v1 sniper battles we had on Nuketown, or just simply playing for fun after a long day. Oh, and that ever so beautiful AN94. Or I could talk about zombies, riding on the bus with your friends in transit, playing many games of town because your friends didn't have any of the DLC, playing Bus Depot and Farm for the lulz, screaming at the skies in Nuketown because you didn't get Jug until round 20, falling off the map in Die Rise, that first time building the plane in Mob of the Dead, feeding Leroy way too much candy and booze and buried, or fighting with your friends over who gets what staff in Origins. Those are all very nostalgic memories, no doubt, and that was originally going to be the focus of this segment, but I know you all have likely heard and experienced those things many times before, and upon deeper inspection and reflection, I found something a bit more suitable for me personally that I wanted to highlight. As you know, there's 3 modes in the game: campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. My first experience with Black Ops 2 was the campaign. That's just how I've always been. I played through the campaign before engaging with any other content in the game. Turning on Black Ops 2 for the first time and hearing the main theme filled me with feelings that I can't describe even to this day. I felt excited. Excited at the prospect of the inevitable adventures and memories I knew I was going to have and create with this game. I felt relieved. Relieved that the long wait between Black Ops 1 and this game was finally over. I could finally experience this game that I had been waiting for so long. I felt... I don't know. This is the feeling that I can't describe. I felt it when I booted it up for the first time all those years ago, and that feeling strikes even harder now than it did then. All of the main themes in this game give me this feeling, but the campaign theme seems to give it to me the most. When I hear the multiplayer theme, I smile as I reflect upon memories of a time gone too soon. When I hear the zombies theme, chills rush across my body and a smile instantly comes to my face. It always fills me with joy knowing that I'm about to experience my favorite zombies mode in any Call of Duty game once more. When I hear the campaign theme, I feel, well, here we are again. I still can't describe it. Rather than trying to describe it, I'm gonna turn on the main theme as I type this, and I'll type every emotion that I feel along with every word that comes to my mind. These words may or may not make sense, but regardless, I'm going to type everything I feel. Reflection, dread, hope, memories, time, loss, dawn, change, regret, pain, bittersweet, forward, gone, end. I listened to the entire 5-minute track as I typed that, and I made sure to not stop typing until the track had finished. At first, these words may not make sense, even to me they didn't. However, after studying them for a bit, I noticed a pattern. These words are important. What this song makes you feel and what these words mean to you will depend on you and your circumstances. As for me, these words couldn't be more perfect to describe how I felt and still feel at the time. Reflection. At the time, I was reflecting on the moment. I was excited in ways that words can't describe to play this game. But now, I constantly reflect upon those days and everything that led me to where I am now. Dread. At the time, I had a slight feeling of dread as I booted up the game. At the time, I didn't completely know why. Something just felt different. It's as if I knew that this game and that year was going to be the last before things changed forever, and looking back, well, things never truly were the same for Call of Duty after Black Ops 2, and things changed for me for the worse forever after that year, so that's pretty spot on. Hope? At the time, I was hopeful for all of the new friends, memories, and times I was going to have on this game, along with hope for the future of my life in that naive, youthful, ignorant sense. Now, I endlessly and desperately chase after those feelings, hoping to recapture them. Memories? At the time, I reflected upon memories from past games before diving straight into this one to make more. Now, that's all they are. Memories. Time? At the time, heck, I didn't even understand time. It was just 2 hands on a clock as far as I was concerned. Now, time is my enemy. Constantly ticking. There's never enough of it, it's always slipping by, and it's always going too fast. Time waits for no one. We're just in this endless, hopeless race against it. But in the end, no one wins against time. Loss. At that time, my family experienced many losses back to back for 3 years straight. It wasn't easy. And now, I've lost more and in more ways than I would wish upon my worst enemies. Dawn? At the time, it felt like the dawn of a new era, or rather, I was at the end of one, and that dawn was just around the corner. Looking back now, that was pretty accurate as I mentioned before, both for Call of Duty, the series, and for me. Change? Similar to Dawn, I knew then and know now that things would change forever after that point. Regret? At the time, I was experiencing much regret with everything that I did, or rather didn't do, during my parents' brutal and abusive divorce. Now, I try not to focus on my regrets, as I believe that everything happens for a reason, and all of my past mistakes have taught me valuable lessons which turn me into the man that I am today. Though, if I'm going to be honest with myself, I still do have many regrets simply because some decisions that I made in my past were completely illogical and, to put it plainly, stupid. Pain? At the time, almost all that I knew was pain. I say almost because I still had my video games, which has always been the only positive in my life. And now, well, I've experienced even more pain, and video games are still the only positive in my life, aside from this YouTube career, which I cannot thank God enough for blessing me with, and that I can't thank all of you enough for providing me with the privilege of being able to do this full time, but otherwise, not much has changed there. Bittersweet? At the time, booting this game up felt bittersweet, as I was beyond excited to play this game, yet somehow I knew things would never be the same going forward, so I knew I had to embrace every second that I played this game and every memory that I made with it. Looking back, yeah, that was pretty accurate, and as for what bittersweet means to me now, well, I suppose that's just the essence of nostalgia, right? Forward, whether it be then or now, I've never been the pessimistic type to sit and loathe in my own sorrow. I may take moments to reflect and sometimes vent negative emotions, as I have done in this video, but it's never more than that. Moments. No matter how many bad things happen, I am always looking forward. Gone? At the time, things were changing, and many things and people I once knew were simply gone, and now, that's more true than ever. Out of all the things that are now gone, it's that time that I miss the most. End? The end of an era, in more ways than one. Black Ops 2 isn't just a game for me. No, it's also a feeling. A feeling that 11 years later, I still can't describe. I love this game so much. Whether I'm reflecting on days gone by, whether I'm just making a video talking about the game like I am now, or whether I'm hopping on and playing for that hit of pure bliss, nostalgia, and enjoyment, I will never stop playing Black Ops 2.
Resident Evil 4.
I love Resident Evil 4. I could go in depth talking about the game itself, but I'll save that for another time as I plan to make a full retrospective on this game and its remake. That being said, this is my favorite game of all time, and the remake is also tied with the original as my favorite game of all time. It takes a very special type of game for me to simply hear one note from the OST before bursting into tears. Every time I turn on the save room theme and I hear that first note, the memories flood my mind, the tears rush from my eyes, I am completely weak and I have to surrender myself to my emotions. I played this game for the first time at 7 years old, and I still still play it at least once, if not 2 to 3 times, every year to this day. When I played this game for the first time, it was in the midst of my parents' abusive marriage and the disastrous divorce that followed. Video games have always been an escape for me. No matter what's happening, no matter how bad things are, I can always get through it as long as I have my video games. It's been that way since I played Donkey Kong Country for the first time at 3 years old, and it's still that way to this day. When I play my video games, I get to escape to a world far, far away from all of this. Escape from the pain, the screams, the abuse, the sorrow, the brokenness. Every time I turned this game on, went to the load game screen, and I heard that save room theme, I knew I was safe. Nothing and no one could hurt me now. No strikes of the belt will hurt me here. No backhands to my face will hurt me here. No screams will overwhelm me here. No doors will be slammed here. No alcohol will stain the carpets, taint the breaths, or litter the floor here. No bruises and scars need to heal here. No glass, picture frames, screens, doors, or other objects can be thrown, shattered, or broken here. Nothing. And no one will hurt me now. I am finally safe. 2 decades later, my ears still ring, my wounds still sting, and tears still rush from my eyes as I type these words. I am a broken man. Post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and major depressive disorder have rendered me inoperable some days, but I don't let that stop me. I fight through it all and settle for nothing less than perseverance, no matter how bleak, dark, or hot the hell I inhabit becomes. If Leon can survive hordes of Ganados, El Gigante, Mendez, all of the other grotesque creatures, laser hallways, and so much more, all to complete his goal of saving the president's daughter, and furthermore, still managed to crack a bunch of jokes and one-liners with a straight face and even the occasional smirk and smile, staying certain and positive about the outcome the entire time, that was and still is inspiring to me. As a kid, and even now, I think to myself, if Leon can do it, I can do it. He fights through so much hell by the time that the credits roll, so much hell that would kill a man tenfold. Yet, he fought through it all, and came out on top, stronger than ever. So, if he can overcome all of that, then what can't I overcome? I have a lot of nostalgia for many things, whether that be movies, shows, cartoons, or those cereal commercials that I used to genuinely love watching when cable was still a thing. But the thing I undoubtedly have the most nostalgia for is video games. It's what I spend the most time doing. They are what I have the fondest memories with, and they got me through the worst points of my life. I enjoy many things in life, but the one thing I've always enjoyed the most, I still enjoy the most, and will always enjoy the most, is video games. These words have always resonated with me ever since I heard them for the first time, so rather than repeat them, I'll just play the clip for you guys.
On my business card, I am a corporate president. In my mind, I am a game developer. But in my heart, I am a gamer.